Hello, once again, folks, to another episode of I Ruined It, the art series where I take some of your favorite childhood things and I ruin them. Today's episode comes as a suggestion from my friend Cryptic Dream, who some of you may know from our Versus Log series of videos where we race each other through the different Pokemon games. His suggestion ended up being a beloved toddler toy that officially is known as the Corn Popper by Fisher Price. Without further ado, see how it goes. All right, so we're just gonna kind of kick it off here. I honestly don't know if I ever knew that this thing was called Corn Popper. Just tangentially, like little fun thing there. I had been talking to Cryptic earlier today, and him and I were both just like, yeah, that little like push poppy lawnmower type of thing. But when I was going to find a reference image for one of these, I just kept finding it listed on sales sites as the Fisher Price Corn Popper. That being said, though, yeah, we just went through and honestly, I thought the base liner that I did was clean enough, so I just went through and I selected that entire layer, gave it a wash with black, and then here we go, skedaddling on to giving it a quick color. Pretty simple design overall. I mean, it's mostly just a dome over top of another dome, so not really too much to worry about. And then the entire color scheme, like I mentioned in the intro, it is a toy initially meant for like a toddler or a young child, so it's not meant to be overly complicated, just pretty simple. Basic color schemes between red, blue, purple, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. The entire gradient of the visible spectrum. So that gives us our base reference, our quick little beginner drawing here. If you notice, I didn't want to draw too many balls in the little dome section. I figured just enough where it's recognizable. But now I get to show you how I ruin it. So I'm not sure exactly what the primary demographic is for these videos, let alone if anyone in the demographic even would remember. But the concept that came up with for this was the movie Speed, starring Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock from back in the day. So instead of this just being a toy where you go through and you push it to pop the corn, you start pushing it and you're not allowed to stop pushing it. Otherwise the popping starts. So as you'll see here, I'm drawing a cartoony looking set of dynamite and a really rudimentary box to house a kind of sensor slash speedometer type of thing. The design for it becomes a little bit more apparent as the rest of the drawing comes through. But so here I am going through. Now I'm making that main body housing at the bottom along with the wheels. I figured it would be used for something a little bit bigger, a little bit more sturdy, given the overall reasoning as why it exists. So it wouldn't be a completely unfair challenge. But it would also stand to reason that you'd need to have a slightly different handle. You wouldn't need something exclusively for pushing it so much, maybe more so trying to drag it behind you. So it has a lot more of a tombstone-esque handle to mimic those larger traveling suitcases with the tow handle and the wheels on the sides. And speaking of Tombstone, it just kind of fits thematically, given the explosive nature of the ruined version of this. But I ended up doing the same trick that I did with the base model, where I just went through. I thought that my liner was well off enough and that I didn't need much for cleanup, so I went through, gave it the once over, just kind of covering all the baseline blues with black. And then we go through and we color everything in. We're just more or less going to keep the general reference, so if it's something that's not super consequential, like the main body here or the housing for the speedometer, we're just keeping it that soft gray / off-white color. Before going in with our reds, this tape on the front is actually supposed to mimic the Fisher-Price logo on the front of the original toy. And then we're going to color the dynamite sticks in that same color scheme that we use for the orbs / beans / balls / poppy corny goodness. Needed a moment here, look over everything. And then we start adding those same colors in on the speedometer as our signifying type of colors. So I went through and added the red to show the danger zone, the green for the safe zone, and then this kind of marigold orange for this last stick is going to be the warning zone. And I made sure to incorporate that purple to kind of break up the warmer / spring tones of the marigold and the lime / grassy kind of green. But now that that main ruined toy is all finished, just giving it a quick backdrop here, I thought it'd be a little campy or funny or whichever synonymous term you'd like to use. I thought it would be interesting, let's go with that, to have it just kind of propped up against a garage door that's partially ajar, as if ominously waiting for someone unsuspected to come by and try messing around with it, or possibly it starts falling and rolls away, unintentionally activating the the speed sensor that's on it, causing an accidental detonation. But also at the same time being similar to, you know, something that you would see at your house if you were to have one. The kids would be done playing outside for the day. Just it being leaned up against the garage, not quite away, but as away as the kids would maybe have the want to do. Oh, but that brings us to one of my favorite parts of these videos, going through masking and doing all of our shadows. Giving the quick blur around the edges where it needs to before dropping down the opacity of the levels. Coming in with our edge highlights with this white. I think highlights are where I still need the most work. I feel like I've come a long way from just a handful of months ago, but I feel like I can still work at it a little bit more. Regardless, we're now going and masking off our scenery and our ground. So, as some of you may have noticed, something I like to do for these videos is I like to keep the lower shadowing for our toys, quote, to be a little bit generic so that they can fit both the before and after. But speaking of before and after, that'll do it for this episode, guys and girls, non-binary folks. So if you have a suggestion for a future video, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you liked it, hit the like button. We post a new one of these every Wednesday. If you'd like to keep up to date, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. YouTube's pretty good about pushing these things out to you guys, but not always. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching, and bye.